Hi Fude lovers, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to do a Rephr video. I know I previously posted my Rephr collection, and recently I received some new Rephr brushes that I wanted to show. Haven't even really had a chance to open them yet, so I want to open them here on this video. And I'm also going to be doing lots of comparisons, so I hope you guys will find this helpful. And I am now an affiliate of Rephr's, so I'll be sure to share my affiliate link below. If you do want to help support my channel, I greatly appreciate it. And I just have to say about Rephr, they're one of the most wonderful companies I've ever worked with. They really strive on taking honest feedback from the community and putting it into their brushes that they create. I've just never worked for a company that is just so honest and just so always wanting to hear honest feedback. So a lot of the times they also have their concept store on their website where they often offer brushes at a really good discount. All they ask in return is that you leave an honest feedback on their website to help them improve in the future. Or of course, if you love it, leave an honest feedback that you love it as well. And Tom and the Rephr team have just been absolutely amazing, and I'm very grateful. And again, I always promise to be honest in my thoughts. That will never change, and that's exactly what Rephr wants. And they're just a wonderful company, they really are. So I genuinely love supporting Rephr wholeheartedly. I just think that their branding is truly unique, and I've just never seen a company so wanting to hear honest feedback on what customers are really looking for, and it helps them improve. And it's great because if there's shapes missing on the Fude market, giving your feedback, it really just helps Rephr create amazing brushes. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first brush, and again, I haven't washed these, they're fresh out of the packaging. This is brush number 27. So on Rephr's website, they said that this brush is 17 millimeters in length. Now, I sometimes like to manually measure my brushes when I'm doing comparisons. This just goes to show when these brushes are hand bundled. Mine is 20 millimeters when I manually measured it with my calipers. So that just goes to show every single brush that's crafted is truly unique in its own way. You can have two of the same exact brushes and there's something different about them, which I love. That's why I like getting backups, especially of eye brushes. And with this brush, it's supposed to be their flattest blender eye brush. And what's funny is mine actually has a slight taper. And I've seen others where they're more flat. So I actually really love this shape. I love how it has a slight taper. And granted, when you wash brushes, the shape does bloom out and does change. So I wonder as I wash this if it will have a flatter top to it. But it has really nice movement, really nice airiness to it. I'm gonna really love this as a crease brush. And it's soft as well. Not scratchy at all, it is very soft. And for comparisons, so I've got the Rephr 15. So as you can see, the Rephr 15 is wider and thicker. So it's gonna give you more impact. You can really see how airy the 27 is. And then I also have the Tom Ford 13. And the Tom Ford 13 is very similar more to the Rephr 15. You can see the 27 is narrower in its body. I just love having different blender shapes. So I was actually really happy when I got this number 27, how different it is to all my other blending brushes. So then I got the Wingoss 17. Here they are. And I would say, yeah, it's still just so different from all of these. Let's see. And then I also definitely have a few more. I've got the Sonia G Blender Pro. And you can see the number 27, it's just more narrow. I really like the airiness it has, because I feel like when doing an eye look, it's just going to be really nice for laying down that initial transition shade, or maybe if you just want a light wash of color on your lids, this is going to be a really good brush for that. Let's see, and then I also have the Hakuhodo B142. So you can see the number 27 is definitely longer in length, but these two shapes are pretty similar, just different lengths. But again, there's just something nice about the way the Rephr takes shape. And did I have another one? Yeah, I think that was about it for eye blender brushes. Just so you guys could get an idea of the 27 compared to maybe some other brushes that you guys had in your collections, to really see the size and the different shape. And then the next one here, I'm really excited for. This is the number 26. So this is 11.5 millimeters in length, roughly. And again, what I measure, actually I believe they did have the measurements on their website. The reason I had to manually measure some of these brushes, especially the newer released ones, they did not have the dimensions on their website. So I think it would be helpful, Rephr, if you can update your website with the brushes that don't have the millimeters in length. I think that really helps buyers when we're searching for particular brushes. And if we have brushes in our collection that we know the millimeters of, it helps us when we're looking at other brushes just to get an idea of the size. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. So anyway, we have my Takeda to compare. And this is my European dress Canadian squirrel. So you can see the size of the 26. It's a really nice size pencil brush, and it just has a lovely taper. Look at the way it comes to that point. I am super ecstatic to try this brush because I really feel like you can get on the outer V very well. Lower lash line, brow bone highlight, inner corner. You can smoke out the lower lash line. Like, this is a really nice size and shape. And let me see, I also have this. This is from AliExpress. I don't know if it's still available, but it's weasel hair. Just to get an idea for the sizing, if you have this brush. And then I also have this from that Rose brand on AliExpress. And these two, yeah, you can see this one is, I believe it's, is it sable? Oh my gosh, I am totally having a brain malfunction. I can't remember. I wish I looked before doing this video, but here's the size comparison. I'll make sure to link this brush below if it is still available, because this one's really nice, but the taper was very similar. It kind of reminded me of this one, but this one is longer. And then just to compare it to some of Rephr's other pencil brushes, so here it is next to the 03 and the 23. So they really well thought out their pencil brushes, because these are all different lengths and sizes. And I was just so excited to add this one to my collection because it really added value to Rephr's collection, in my opinion. And I really love like this one you can put liner on with, detail work, inner corner highlight, and then the 03 I really enjoyed as well, but this one, this 26, really added some nice value to my collection. Really nice. Oh, and then I also pulled out the Rephr 12. I know this one isn't really exactly a narrow pencil brush, but just to get an idea for the size. And then I also pulled out my Chikuhodo Z series pencil brush and the Chikuhodo F07, which is Silver Fox. So here they are. And again, what's great is this Rephr just added such value to my collection. It's more tapered than the Fox. I would say very similar to the Z series brush in a way, but with Squirrel you can see it really doesn't taper as much as Goat would, or at least the way it was bundled anyway, so it's just really nice. And the last brush, this one is no longer available, but this is from the Zuvmore Onyx series from ShouShouLang, and these two, this was the brush I thought was the most similar to the Rephr, but again, it's still different. I just feel like the way this was bundled, the way it is more dense, this has a little bit more movement and glide. So this, the Rephr one's just gonna be much more direct, which I love. It can be direct because you've got that really beautiful point. You're really gonna be able to smoke out liner. I'm so excited. I actually really feel like this 26 is gonna be backup worthy in my opinion. Really nice pencil brush. And then the next one here, we've got the 29. So this is 2.4 millimeters in length. I'm not sure of the hair type. And that's another thing, Rephr, if you guys ever consider, if you watch this video anyway, if you guys ever consider listing the exact hair type, I'm not really sure if they're able to list the grade of goat that they use. So I'm not sure if their goat brushes are Sokoho goat hair or Saikoho goat hair. So it would just be really cool to see exactly what the hair type is, because us collectors, we really like to know. But this is super soft and it has really nice give to it. It's not too stiff, so they did a really lovely job with this, and I really feel like you could use this for your brows. You could use it for lining on your upper lash line, lower lash line. This is a great detail brush, and you can see there's a slight gap there, and that's good. That means it's got good give to it, and it's just really soft. So those with sensitive eyes, whatever this hair type is, gorgeous. Like, you are not gonna get watery eyes with this brush. And that's what I really like. Sometimes if brushes are too scratchy or too stiff, I'll notice that my lash line will kind of start to water. My waterline will start to water. So I wanted to compare it with the Hakuhodo B163. This was the closest brush I had in my collection. Granted, you can see the Hakuhodo is made of badger hair and it's angled, and it also has more length to it. The Hakuhodo is actually my favorite brow brush for powder, brow powder. So I was really happy to add the 29 to my collection. It really does add something different. And I'm very satisfied with that. That's really nice. I just couldn't believe how soft. Really soft. And just the beautiful detail it has. Like, it'll really be able to get really detailed on the eyes for sure. All right, and then we have the number 33. So this is 17.5 millimeters. And again, this is what I measured on my brush specifically because the length was not listed on Rephr's website. So I did manually measure mine with calipers, and that is what mine measured to, was about 17.5 millimeters. So this brush is really nice. I feel like you'd be able to use this brush with maybe under eye concealing, spot concealing. I would probably use this brush for my eye base because it has really nice give to the bristles. It's not stiff and it feels soft, really soft. These new brushes I received from Rephr are really nice. And it's got a really nice diamond taper, which I love diamond tapers. I have small eyes, so I really feel like this brush for me is gonna be wonderful with concealer or for my eye base. And definitely the closest brush I have in my collection to the 33 is the Hakuhodo B210GS. And I could not believe how similar these brushes were. They look to be nearly the same length, same shape. And this Hakuhodo brush is actually one of my favorite brushes for my eye base. So I was really psyched to have this Rephr version because I definitely don't want to beat up my Hakuhodo too much, and it's just nice trying different brands with that very similar shape. So they have very, very similar movement. And keep in mind, again, the Rephr I have not washed yet, so it is going to splay out more like the Hakuhodo, but they've moved very similarly on the skin. So I was psyched when I was pulling out comparisons, and I'm like, wow, it's super close. Very, very close. And then I also wanted to, just if you do have this brush, this is another brush I really love for my eye base, is the Hakuhodo B532G. And again, these shapes are definitely different. And this one, the B220GS, is goat synthetic, and this one is all goat, the Hakuhodo. So just to get an idea, if you have either one of the Hakuhodo brushes, for the size of the Rephr. And all three of these brushes, love for eye base, personally. And we all have different preferences, so what I may really enjoy for one thing, you may really enjoy for another thing, so definitely something to keep in mind. But all right, and then the next one here, I was really excited for this one. This is the number 35. And this one I measured personally manually with my calipers. This one I measured as 17 millimeters in length. And it's a round shaped brush. This would be great for if you use cream contour, you want to just put the line down and then blend it. Circular motions, buff it in. Me personally, ooh, this brush is really soft. Wow. Me personally, I love these shapes for my under eye concealer or eye base personally. And I definitely wanted to compare it with the Sonia G mini base. And the mini base is 23 millimeters in length. So you can see how much larger the mini base is compared with this 35. Now what's funny is I really, really enjoy the mini base with my under eye concealer. The way it just bounces underneath the skin, and it just like blends so effortlessly. I never have any creasing on my under eyes when I use this brush. So I was like really excited to have a little bit of a smaller version. And again, I have smaller features, so I really think this is gonna work great the same way that this mini base will. And then just to really see the size, just for comparison's sakes, I pulled out the Sonia G Classic base, so you can see how much bigger the Classic base is compared to these two. And it's such a shame to see Sonia G discontinuing the Fusion series brushes. So I did see her mention that she's definitely gonna mention it to the artisans to see if they'll be able to bring them back in one way or another. I hope she does. But it's good to have other options like this Rephr. So if we're not able to get the Sonia G anymore, it's just good to have other alternatives that will work in a similar way. Now, granted, the Sonia G is mixed with synthetic, and this is all goat, so I'll be interested to see when I use it how different it is. And I do love how dense it is. Very dense and just very soft. I really like that one. And then the next one here, we have the number 36. And the number 36, I measured at about 15 millimeters in length, and it has that really nice angle to it. And this one is actually probably one of the softest ones in this entire set that I received. Really soft, like, especially for Rephr, this one just felt very, very, very soft. I know some people I've seen complain about Rephr's brushes not being soft. I own a lot of luxury and high-end brushes, and some of my Rephr brushes are actually really soft in my opinion. I wish I knew what the grade of goat was, and granted, there's always going to be different batches of hair. So my batch may not be exactly identical to someone else's batch, so always keep that in mind. But Rephr's customer service is phenomenal, so if you ever had any issues with your brushes shedding or feeling scratchy, always feel free to reach out to them because they really are amazing at assisting and making sure that their customers are happy. So this one I wanted to compare it mostly with the Sonia G Jumbo Concealer. And these take on, oh, nope, I'm sorry. Yeah, Jumbo Concealer, okay. These ones take on similar shapes. Not identical. The Sonia G one isn't as angled, but it does have a slight angle to it. And the shapes are very, I mean, the sizes are very similar. So if you enjoy the Jumbo Concealer, this is a great one. But you can see where the short hairs are. They're short, 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 go long up here. So it's really dense right here, but then it has really nice movement towards the top. So I do feel like when you initially pack concealer under the eyes, and the tips of the bristles are going to do a really good job at blending. So this is going to do well at laying it down, and then the tips really blend it very nicely. I'm excited to use this one, really excited. And the density is unbelievable. It's really, really dense. So I feel like because this one's so dense and the way that it's bundled, where it's shorter towards the bottom and then gets longer, it may not soak up as much product, which is good. Yeah, that's a really nice, they did a beautiful job crafting this one and creating this one. Oh, and I also wanted to compare it also just for sizes. The Sonia G Soft Concealer, and then the Jumbo Worker. So if you like these Sonia G Fusion brushes, I just wanted to bring them out so you could see it next to them for sizes. And you know what? I can also compare the Rephr 35 with the Soft Concealer. So here it is. So this is a really good gauge to see the size next to the Soft Concealer if you have it. So, but the Rephr 35, this one is denser than the Soft Concealer. So the soft concealer has more movement and the Rephr is definitely denser. So they're gonna definitely give different finishes, but they're gonna serve very similar purposes. So I just love how they're similar size to the Sonia G, because I use these Sonia G Fusion series every single time I do my makeup. And now knowing that they're being discontinued, we're not sure if they'll come back. I'm just really happy to have a different alternative and a backup, so to speak, from another brush manufacturer that will definitely serve the same purpose. All right, and then we have the Rephr 37. So the 37, unfortunately right now, is currently out of stock on Rephr's website. I really hope they do restock this brush. I know there's a lot of people out there who love round cheek brushes, and this one I measured at about 28.5 millimeters in length. And this brush is very soft as well. Now granted, you're not going to have the same exact softness as you would with Chikuhodo goat hair, and that's why you pay Chikuhodo goat pricing, premium pricing. But for somebody just getting into Fude, these are wonderful brushes. Or for somebody who just wants different unique shapes in their collection, I feel like these brushes are definitely unique in my collection. Now the 37 is not as unique because I'm going to have some comparisons, but this one, Rephr says you can use with liquid foundation, blush, bronzer, and it is a really nice size, and it's got good movement. Really nice movement on the skin. This is just really soft. I don't know if Rephr like upgraded their hair, but these brushes are just really, I'm impressed. So I definitely wanted to compare it with the Hakuhodo J210. And now again, the Rephr has not been washed yet, so it is gonna bloom very similarly to the J210. And the J210 is 30 millimeters in length, so it's only a little bit more than the Rephr. You can see about 1.5 millimeters more. I can't wait to see the 37 after I wash it, because I do feel like it's gonna take on very similar shape to the Hakuhodo. And I always feel very confident to use my Rephr brushes with cream or liquid products. So it is good to have different grades of goat in your collection. You don't always want the softest of the softest, right? Because they're all gonna serve their different purposes. Like I would never use my Takeda EXS bristles with creams or liquids, where with my Rephr, I would definitely be comfortably using them with creams or liquids. They're gonna be more durable and they're more like workhorse brushes in my opinion. All right, and then I also wanted to show it next to my Takeda 16 RS EXS, and this one is 28.5 millimeters. So this is actually the same length as the Rephr. And you can see the Takeda EXS bristles are a lot finer, and that is why I will not use them with creams or liquids. I know people do use their EXS bristles with creams or liquids, but I prefer not to, personally. They're too delicate. I'm sure you could, but I'm just too OCD to do that. But yeah, it's really great option, especially if you don't want to pay Takeda's premium pricing. Very, very similar in length. I mean, it's identical. And then I also wanted to show it next to my Sonia G Phase 2. And unfortunately, the Phase 2 is currently sold out on Beautylish. So I don't know if Sonia G will be bringing it back. So this 37 is going to be a great option if you wanted the Phase 2, because it's very similar. The Phase 2 is 31 millimeters in length. So it is a little bit longer than the 37, as you can see here. but let's see. So the Sonia G, Rephr 37. Okay, so the Rephr is denser, and the Sonia G Phase 2 has more airiness to it. So that's why I would definitely prefer to use the Rephr 37 with creams or liquids, because of that density. But it still has really nice glide and move on the skin, even though it's dense. I love this one. No wonder it's out of stock on Repr's website right now. Like, it is a nice one for sure. Let's see if I can hold it up next to these guys here, just so you guys can see them all side by side, just to get an idea. And I'm trying to think if I missed any other comparisons. Let me see. Still have a couple more in my cup here. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring out, I don't remember if I showed this one, the Classic Crease by Sonia. And then also the Sonia G Crease Pro. And then, did I show the 16? I can't remember. I put them back in my cup, so I'm just showing them anyway. I had so many comparisons. All right, yeah, so the 27 next to these. So again, that 27 is just totally different from all of my other eye blender brushes, so I'm really happy I added this to my collection. It just has a different shape, different density, and I'm just super happy to have it. You can never have enough eye blending brushes, in my opinion, because especially if some are dirty, like eye blender brushes are just definitely can never have too many of those, for sure, in my opinion. Oh yeah, and I also wanted to bring out the Tom Ford 11 brush, just so you guys can see it next to the Rephr 33. Now they're different shapes, but just for size, just for a size gauge, if you have the Tom Ford 11. Here's the side, and yeah, these two both have that really nice diamond taper. And I know the Tom Ford 11, a lot of people like this for nose contour. So I do feel like you could definitely use the 33 with nose contour because of that pointed tip. It would be really nice for nose contour as well. So all of these Rephr brushes are just really versatile. And depending on your makeup techniques, they're all going to serve different purposes in different people's collections. So again, you know, what I may like for one thing, someone else may not love it for another. Everyone has different preferences, so that's why I always like to share comparisons to brushes that maybe people have in their current Fude collections, and just to see brushes side by side to one another. I know when I was doing research, and when I still do research on Fude, I really like to have just an idea of like a brush I may own in my collection and what that brush may look like next to it. So I really hope this was helpful for you guys, and if you have any questions, as always, leave them down below. Again, I will link everything down below. Hopefully the 37 will be back in stock at some point, because it is a really nice one. And yeah, other than that, I will see you guys in my next one. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks guys, bye.